All right, well, good morning to Hot Joe and the Ranko Show, episode 7. It's January 23rd, and it's 36 degrees outside. Looks like it might rain today. I've got a window that's right here, so I can get weather accurate right out here. First of all, do not be jealous. Don't be jealous of this hat. I mean, I get it. It's sweet. Right? So after my dad passed away, we were going through a closet, and he had this collection of all these different hats, and so this was one of them. So I got to flip it around because it's got a wicked shadow on my face here, but I want to keep it on. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, I mean, come on. That's totally 80s right there. All right. So today on the show, what's your job or occupation? Camping or glamping? Tennessee's new carry permit, online carry permit, fun facts and lyric challenge. So we got a lot to get to today. Hope everybody's doing good today. Got my Pleeplius shirt on. If you don't know what that is, sorry for your luck. Anyway, thanks for the continued support. We're getting subscribers every day, getting a lot of views, so that's great. And hope you're all enjoying it. Comment, let me know if you are, and anything I can do differently, or let's get on with it. So my girlfriend and I were talking about just people that she has to work with and people we've worked with in the past, and how just certain people just, they don't want to do their job, or they're bad at it, or they just kind of phone it in. My question is, what's the point? Oh man, I've totally screwed this all up. Hold on, we got to back up. Coffee, hold on. Hot Joe, right? I'm excited. I'm trying to get into it. All right, so the coffee I'm drinking today is San Francisco Bay Gourmet Coffee French Roast. Here we go. Camera 2, get some love. Now, the cool thing about these actually is they go in the K-Cup deal, but this ring in every part of this is biodegradable. So it's pretty cool. Got it at Costco. And it's good coffee. I'm drinking mine today with a little bit of honey in it. I don't know if anybody does that, but it's pretty good. All right, so let's get to it. Talking about jobs, and you know, I've had a ton of jobs in my life, and I honestly believe that everybody should have multiple jobs throughout the course of your life. I just don't think that you should get locked in. I mean, there's certain things where there's certain careers where obviously that's going to be, if you're a doctor, you're not going to be a doctor for 3 years and go, I don't really want to be a doctor. I mean, you got a lot of education there that you have to get through. But just in general, I think people should have different jobs along their careers and along their lifetimes. Now, I've had a lot of jobs. And I call them jobs because there's jobs and there's careers. You know, there's when you start off life, you get jobs to pay the bills and whatever until you find out what you want to do as a career, as your thing, right? So just a few of my back work history. I worked at Rack's restaurant when I was 15, so I could only work for so many hours or whatever because of the labor laws or whatever. And then I used to work at Service Merchandise. I don't know if anybody remembers what that is. So what Service Merchandise was, they're not in business anymore, but you would go in and you'd look at what you wanted, but you wouldn't take the merchandise off the shelf. You'd actually fill out this little card thing. They ring it up, and then I was the dude that when the printout came out, you read it and go pull the order, put it on the conveyor belt, and then how it would come through the window. And if you ordered something big like a weight set or whatever, you'd have to go around to the back, and I'd load all that in your car. So I did that for many years, and I would do it when I would come home, like for Christmas break or whatever. I would go, and I could just work for them. I taught tennis for the Parks and Recreation Department for many years, and would do that in the summers, and really enjoyed that. I worked at a drum shop when I was in college. I was Chuck E. Cheese. What? Yeah, no, I was Chuck E. Cheese. Not I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. I was Chuck E. Cheese. Okay, like that, the whole outfit and the uniform. Yeah, that was in college. So I just needed a way to make extra money and make ends meet. And so I was working at that drum shop, and I just wasn't getting enough hours there. And so I went to Hickory Hollow. And there was a Chuck E. Cheese. I think it's still there, I'm assuming. Chuck E. Cheese. And I walked in the door. And the manager at the time, his name was Lanny. He was a super dude. He was a great manager. And I'll tell you why he was a great manager. Man, that coffee's good. If we were slammed... So, let me get to that in a minute. So anyway, I meet him and he's like, so tell me something about yourself. I said, well, I'm a drummer, I'm whatever. He goes, oh, you're a performer. Perfect. Come with me. Now, mind you, I don't work for this company at this time. I'm literally walked in the door. He's like, come with me. So he takes me back into the character room, which is behind the stage, and it's where all the technical equipment and stuff is. So he takes me in there. He's like, put that suit on. So I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, just put it on. So I put on the Chuck E. Cheese suit. And he says, there's only one rule. You can't talk, but you could just run around out there and do whatever you want. So I'm like, okay. So I have the suit on. I'm like, you can't see very well out of it. And so I run over a few kids and whatever. But so I go out there and a few minutes later I look over and he motions me back. I go back in the room and he's like, cool, when can you start? And I'm like, I don't care, right now is good. He goes, all right, let's go fill out some paperwork. So I did that. I ended up working there for a couple of years in college and worked out a deal with Lanny where I could come in at on Sundays at like 5 a.m. and unload the trucks that came in to make extra money. And it was actually a really cool gig because I would do the character shows, do the birthday parties, whatever, and then I would go back in the kitchen and do whatever they needed, make pizzas or kind of whatever. But back to why Lanny was such a good manager was if we got slammed, that dude was, I mean, he was in there, hands-on, would do anything that needed to be done. Clean bathrooms. It didn't matter. If it had to get done, it got done. So that being said, all the employees there really enjoyed working for him, and they were paying me very well. I mean, I think I was making, now granted, this was in 1990 and 91, somewhere around in there. Yeah, I was making like $9 an hour. I mean, that was a lot of money for doing what I was doing. So anyway, yeah, I was digging through some stuff the other day and I found this sweet gem. Check that out. That's my old name tag. And they even spelled it correctly. Good job. Camera 2, Chuck E. Cheese. Anyway, so after that, now all this time I'm in bands and I'm playing music and I'm going to college. And then, so when I graduated college, moved out, ended up buying a houseboat and lived on a houseboat for 4 years, but that's a topic for another time. So during that time, I drove trucks for a living and I unloaded trucks for a living, and at a company that they did cabinets and countertops. And so initially I came in just to unload trucks and do that kind of stuff. And then the owner of that company moved me up and he's like, hey, you want to build actually the dude in the countertop shop quit. So he goes, hey, you're in charge of countertops. So they gave me a crash course and here's how you make laminate countertops. So I did that. I built cabinets, eventually moved on to another shop. And then from there, I went to work for a guy named Warner Hodges, who is the lead guitarist for Jason and the Scorchers. Well, he had a home improvement business, and so he hired me on there to do a lot of his trim carpentry and just a little, well, I say trim, we did everything. We poured concrete, we tied rebar, we did everything. So he hired me to come do that, and so I did that for a while. I did metal sculpting, and I sold a bunch of stuff at art galleries for a while. Again, during all this, I'm also playing drums, because while I was working at that cabinet shop, Tabasco Cat had taken off my rockabilly band, and so we were playing 4 nights a week, Thursday through, was it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Yeah, 4 nights a week from 10 to 2 at every bar on Lower Broad. And then if I can get my screen to work here, this is why I like doing this on paper better. But now I own my own business. I have a home improvement business, and I'm a licensed Tennessee home inspector. So all that being said, if you get a good variety of jobs, at all those jobs, you try to do the best you can and not just phone it in. And it's just frustrating to me when I go to see, where you go anywhere and you can just tell somebody doesn't dig their job. It's like, quit. Go get a better job. Go do something else. Do something you like. Life is too short to just stick somewhere that you hate, and there's plenty of people that do it, but I just think it makes you miserable as a person. Now, do I love everything I do every day? Of course not. If I'm crawling under a house or up in an attic and it's 97 degrees, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but you know what? I'm my own boss. I kind of do what I want to do, and that's the life I've carved out for myself, right? I tried to make it where, being your own boss is tough in the fact that if you don't work, you don't make any money, but at the same time, you have control over your life. So anyway, that being said, if you have a job and you hate it, quit. Obviously have a plan. Don't just, hi, honey, I quit my job. I was watching Rankin on YouTube. That's it. Game over. Don't do that. That's not my advice. Line up something else. Go back to school. Hey, the train's going by. I love it. I got a train track real close to my house. I love the sound of that train. Reminds me of being at my grandparents'. They had a train track when I was a kid down near their house, and you'd hear it all the time. All right, so let's talk about camping and or glamping. Let's see, what time are we at? Oh, man, we're already at 12 minutes. Holy crap, I'm burning through it. So I do a lot of motorcycle camping. There's other videos on my channel where me and Jamie did the Trans-American Trail, sections of it on our motorcycles, and we camped. And so that was pretty, you're in the middle of freaking nowhere camping, and it was a lot of fun. But also I have a toy hauler and really enjoy going camping with the toy hauler. So we do a lot of campsites here, there, and yonder. When we're part of a thing called Harvest Host, which you join it, and it's a pretty cool thing. So if you're out camping and you're going one place to another or something, and you can't get a reservation at your regular camping spot, what Harvest Host is, it's breweries, wineries, some golf courses, museums. And what they'll do is they'll allow you to park in their parking lot. Now, you need to be fully self-contained. Like in ours, I have a generator, we have water tanks and all that. And so basically all they ask is that you patronize the place that you're staying at. So, go in, do a wine tasting, have a beer, go through the museum, whatever. And then you get to stay there for free. And it's super cool. We've done a couple. We went to a winery up in Ocoee. And the guy was like, yeah, just park out back. And then we did a winery, a Big Creek winery in Pulaski, Tennessee. And they were like, sure, just pull around back. There's a horse pasture, a fence, and the horses will come up to the fence. And so we just parked back there and made dinner and had some wine. And it was great. So if you want to hear more about camping or you have more camping ideas, let me know. Some of my friends, Keith and Stephanie, have really gotten into camping. And so they join us occasionally at different sites. My brother has got a super sweet Airstream. And so that's fun to get to go camping with your brother. I enjoy that. All right, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time for this, but we're going to go through. You know what? I'm going to save the Tennessee gun law. No, we'll talk about it a little bit, and then at some point we'll get into it maybe deeper. I don't want this channel to be political, but this was just something that struck me as ridiculous. So Tennessee now, you can get your carry permit online. I'm like, what? So I have a carry permit, and I carry, but I had to go to the Nashville Armory, go through a class and actually physically shoot the gun and qualify. you have to get a certain amount of points when you shoot, and then you have to take a written test, and it's like a 2-day class. And so now you can just study, take the test online, then you print out your little certificate and take that to the DMV, and you get a handgun carry permit. It's insane. So there's a company online, I'm not going to mention their name, but it came across my feed, and it was a Tennessee handgun permit online. And I was like, God, this is a terrible idea. And so I commented on it, and I just said it's a terrible idea online. You can't discharge a firearm online. You need hands-on real instructors, smell of powder, recoil, loud noises, etc., to know if someone is qualified to handle a firearm responsibly. Can't be done online. Sorry, you can argue it all day, but in the end, it's a tactile experience. So the guy replied to me and, just basically did his spiel about whatever. And they're trying to make money, and I get it, and it's legal for them to do it, right? So I'm not slamming the business, because if they didn't do it, someone else is going to step in and do it. My point was, you can't learn how to responsibly handle a firearm online. And I used the analogy with him because he was talking about, they have really in-depth videos and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I can watch Evel Knievel videos all day long, right? But I can't go get my motorcycle and, jump 12 buses because I've watched a bunch of great videos online, right? It's something you have to do. You get a little ramp and you jump, and then you get a bigger ramp and you jump, and you do that for years until you figure out. You get my point. I'm being sarcastic. But anyway, it was just one of those things where I'm just like, this is a terrible idea. You study online, you pass the test, or who knows if you're passing the test. Could be anybody taking that online test. And then, so anyway. All right, we're up to 17 minutes, so we got to get to the rest of the show. All right, Lyric Challenge yesterday was won by Bobby. Once again, it was the Dave Matthews Band. Today, here's the Lyric Challenge. Our memories, they can be inviting, but some are altogether mighty frightening. As we die, both you and I, with my head in my hands, I sit and cry. All right, that's the Lyric Challenge for today. Here's your fun facts. Here we go. Fun fact. In 2017, more people were killed from injuries by taking a selfie than by shark attacks. There were only 5 deaths due to shark attacks in 2017, which is lower than the average year. The average amount of deaths caused by sharks is 6. Worldwide, there was 35 deaths caused by taking selfies in 2017. All right, I guess people standing on a cliff and fall off, or who knows. One other quick fun fact, honeybees can recognize human faces. Whereas before it was thought that only large-brained mammals could distinguish faces, but honeybees can do this as well. They see faces in a compilation of 5,000 individual images, kind of like pixels. Cool. Hey, speaking of honeybees, my bees are doing good. They're hunkered down for the winter, though. They come out and fly when it's about 50 or above, but it hadn't been 50 or above here lately, so they just hanging out in the hives. We've got a couple inspirational quotes I want to read. So my girlfriend has these little daily calendars, and they have just little things on them. Inspirational sayings. And so I picked a few today that I thought were really good. So here we go. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And that was George Adair who said that. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Walt Disney. Our greatest glory is not in falling, but in rising every time we fall. Confucius. All right, guys. That's it for today. I love you. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. Do something nice for somebody today if you get a chance. Camera 2, you didn't get any love today. I'm sorry about that, but we were slamming and jamming. So tomorrow, Friday, I've got a big announcement. Excuse me, we're going to have a guest on the show, for Saturday. So I will announce that tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And as my pops always used to say, you can't soar with the eagles if you hang out with turkeys. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.